We lay all day in our comfy bed. What a wonderful life. We play outside in the green grass. What a wonderful...
Whether you like her music or not, you really can't deny Billie Eilish has an incredible amount of talent and skill. She's managed to rock the globe and keep us all on our toes since becoming famous. But how does all her talent and popularity translate into real money? And how much money has she made so far in her career? Every year, Forbes releases an annual ranking of the world's richest people. But besides that, they also go out of their way to create a separate list detailing the richest celebrities. And you'd never guess who became the youngest person ever to be included on Forbes' Celebrity 100 list in 2020. Yep, Billie Eilish.
Oh my god, shut the frick up, bro.
But because she has been making music for a few years now, it's not exactly surprising that she's been able to make quite the income from it. What is surprising, however, is that she seems to have gathered in a few years what some artists spend a lifetime trying to achieve. And I'm not just talking about the money and Grammys here. But first, how did a little girl from nowhere blow up to literally be one of the internet's hottest sensations? Billie's accidental rise to fame. It might surprise you to know that despite her lifelong love of music and all performing arts, Billie never actually intended to become a well-known singer. Although, when you do consider that she comes from a family of talented musicians and actors, maybe it was kind of inevitable. Her parents encouraged their children's musical interests from an early age, and Billie began singing and writing music at the age of just 5.
Hi, my name is Billie, and I am going to play a song that I made up with this guitar.
One day when she was 13, her dancing instructor requested her to compose a song for a choreographed dance. So with the help of her brother Phineas, she recorded Ocean Eyes, which is still one of her biggest hits to date. She posted it on SoundCloud, and she only intended for her dance teacher to listen. But when she woke up the following morning, thousands of people had already listened to it and were loving it. And that's how she had her career take off. If you think it all sounds a little too incredible, well, so did her record label, Interscope Records, who produced a documentary about the story and her background. The documentary, titled Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, was released in 2021, but it was initially acquired by Apple TV Plus in 2019.
Is that million?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's hard to estimate how much the media houses themselves made from the documentary, but rumors have it that Billie herself walked away with a $25 million paycheck from the deal. Now, if she made all that money just from her documentary alone, you can only imagine how much she's made from her music. How much has Billie earned from her music? Billie currently has 2 studio albums under her belt, plus a ton of other musical releases. Her debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, sold more than 3.9 million units after its release in March 2019. And after becoming triple platinum, the record rose to prominence as the #1 album of the year.
Billie Eilish, When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Producer Phineas O'Connell.
So it really wasn't that much of a shocker to anyone when Billie Eilish made history for winning 4 awards in one night at the 2020 Grammys.
I'm really not. I love you. Thank you for this.
She won the categories of Best New Artist, Album, Song, and Record of the Year winner for just that 1 year. Her most recent album, Happier Than Ever, became the second #1 album in the country when it arrived at the top of the Billboard 200. She went on tour in 2022 all around Europe and North America, making her a lot of money from ticket sales. Her When We All Fall Asleep tour, which started in 2019, generated a total of $18 million in revenue and is one of her most successful tours to date. However, her most recent Happier Than Ever tour has been pretty successful as well. And even before the tour was over, estimates were already putting the total amount of income generated to be about $13.7 million. The people around her seem to be doing pretty great too, particularly her brother Phineas. He and Billie work together a lot, but he also makes his own music and is actually pretty successful at it. This explains why his net worth is valued at an estimated $20 million. Billie also recently became the youngest musician ever to write and perform the title song for the most recent James Bond movie, No Time to Die. So she's leveraged more on the huge music platform she's built to dabble in other things and make even more money.
Whoa! Oh my god!
income from social media, and other deals. In just a few years since she first gained notoriety, Billie has garnered an unbelievable number of 103 million followers. That's basically 3 times the entire population of California. Because of this, it's really easy for Billie to monetize herself. So how much money is she actually getting paid by brands, and how much money does she make from it? Well, it's an educated guess, judging by how much celebrities of a similar status make. For example, Kendall Jenner makes between $473,000 and $788,000 for each sponsored Instagram post, and she has 239 million Instagram followers. Various reliable estimates: Billie could probably be making between $205,000 and $340,000 for each sponsored post. Plus, her YouTube account also generates an estimated $293.8k to £4.7 million in revenue annually, which would translate to around $360,000 to $5.87 million in US dollars.
106 million followers on Instagram.
Billie also earns a lot from sponsored tweets in addition to her Instagram and YouTube channels. From estimates once more, a single sponsored tweet might bring in anywhere between $50,000 and $85,000 for her. Although it's not as much as what she makes from her other social media sites, the amount is still fairly generous. Then there are also the brands she endorses, although you might not exactly catch her posing with a bedazzled bottle like a certain Kardashian. But really, she works with quite a number of well-known companies like Adobe and Calvin Klein, for instance. The singer collaborated with Takashi Murakami, a Japanese artist, in April 2019 to promote a clothing line. The line mostly consisted of big t-shirts, hoodies, and jackets, all of which Eilish is renowned for wearing. In July of the same year, she also signed a significant endorsement contract with the Los Angeles-based clothing brand Freak City. But in addition to profiting from sponsored articles, she appears to be using her platform to market her own products. She's the owner of the clothing company Blosh, which sells beanies, hoodies, and pillows. And although everyone's kind of used to her being enterprising, Billie stunned everyone by releasing a Eilish, her debut fragrance, which she described as her favorite smell in the world. The line sold out completely, and she pretty much made a fortune because, according to estimates, the perfume was predicted to have generated $60 million in sales during its first year on the market. If you total the revenue from all the various sources listed, you've probably figured that Billie makes anywhere over $1 million a year from social media alone, depending on whether or not she accepts any sponsored posts or commercial collaborations. But how much exactly is she worth in total? So, what's her total net worth? When published reports of Billie's net worth were first released in 2019, she was projected to be worth $25 million, but according to Forbes, her net worth is far more now. Forbes puts her net worth as of 2022 at a startling $53 million. Now that's definitely a lot of money for a 21-year-old.
It's just life. Nothing more.
However, the one thing you might still be curious about is how exactly does she spend all that money? Well, if you're a superfan, like I am, you might already be aware of Billie's love for cars, and in that case, it might not be too shocking to learn that she's spent a lot of money on various cars since becoming famous and wealthy. She was pretty thrilled when she got her Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat, and at a whopping $30,000, it's one of her most prized possessions. But that's not even the most expensive car she owns. That would be her McLaren, which is valued at about $160,000. But of course, cars are not how she spends all her income. Remember, she's pretty famous, so she has to pay for a lot of other things like security, living expenses, and sadly a high income tax. But that's still a pretty good deal in exchange for having $53 million in the bank, I think.
I want to stay happy. That's a big goal for me.
If you'd like more stories like this, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe to get notifications on our videos.